W258CZ 99.5 FM, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, and the Bahamas.
The following is an independently produced program. The views expressed within are not those of WSRF 1580 AM, their staff, or management, but are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers.
Chat with Kattt chaque mardi from 6 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. discussing finance, mortgage, assurance, funeral care sur WSRF 1580 AM and 99.5 FM avec Kathleen Barrow. Nous là pour connecter avec toutes ressources financières qu'Apedeo grandi.
All right. Bonsoir tout le monde, bonsoir tout le monde. Welcome to Chat with Kattt. You are listening to Kathleen Barrow for Chat with Kattt on WSRF 1580 AM, and we are also being streamed on YouTube. We have a very special guest, and as such, this is the last show for Women's History Month. Today, in honor of Women's History Month, we have the privilege of speaking with a trailblazer in public safety. Chief Digna Abello has made history as the first woman to lead the Miami Beach Fire Department and the first female fire chief in Miami-Dade County. Chief Abello's journey with the Miami Beach Department began January 2005 when she was hired as a firefighter. Over the past 19 years, her dedication and leadership has propelled her through the ranks. She served as drive and engineer lieutenant and notably became the department's first female division chief, overseeing training and support services. Her commitment to excellence continued as she advanced to deputy chief of administration in 2020, where she played a pivotal role in the department's strategic initiatives. In July 2024, Chief Abello was appointed as the 14th Fire Chief of Miami Beach, making a significant milestone not only for the department, but also for the broader community. Her leadership reflects a commitment to innovation, inclusivity, and public service. Welcome, Ms. Chief Abello. Thank you so much for joining Chat with Kattt.
Oh, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me, Kattt. It was a pleasure meeting you. Also, so I can't wait for our conversation. I appreciate you also taking the time to reach out and your listeners as well.
Well, we are so happy to have you here. Congratulations on your achievement, and let's dive into it because I only have you for 25 minutes. So, welcome again, Chief, to the show. Since this is Women's History Month, let's get started by celebrating your journey. What inspired you to pursue a career in firefighting?
So I can't really say that, it was my first line of choice. I've had an incredible childhood, being always in athletic sports, and my mother worked, left the house at 5 a.m. till 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, working in the hospital. So my inspiration, work ethics, and everything came from my mom, and I knew that I didn't want to see her struggle or hear the stories of how she struggled in life, coming from Cuba and my parents. So, I was always blessed with helping others, even if my mom didn't have the $5, $10, but she was selfless in that sense. And when I went to college, it was, being police because trying to law-abiding citizen and trying to make things right. And it was an incident that happened in my dorm rooms that kind of was that pivotal moment where I was like, yeah, look, you got to ask for permission on this one. They're not so nice to you over here. And, this group of individuals come, and it was a very eye-opening. I don't have anyone in the field itself, so it's not like I was second-generation firefighter brought into this world. And growing up, we didn't have the ability of having fire explorers like we do now. And you're able to expose children at a younger age, career day, to be able to go into these different careers. And, when I was growing up, not that old, we didn't have those things. So it's nice to see how far we've come. But in that sweet silver lining, it's sad too that it's all these years, and hopefully it will be getting better with the different generations.
Amen. You've broken barriers as Miami Beach's first female fire chief, excuse me. What does this milestone mean to you, and what has the journey been like?
Well, I've been extremely humbled by the warmth of support from the firefighters, from the residents. And it comes with a sense of duty in that sense. You don't see a lot of women. I'm the first in Miami Beach. I'm the first in Miami-Dade County, and we have very large fire departments in Miami-Dade County. In the history of the department, my department, over 100 years, the city of Miami, Miami-Dade County. So it's been an amazing, I want to say 7-8 months, and humbling in that sense to be in the position that I'm in. But more importantly, the support and the backing that I have from all the firefighters, not only that work for my fire department, but that work from all over Florida, from the Panhandle, New York, Chicago, LA, people that I've never met across, the waterways, Europe, Scotland. And it's like, like a reality star in its sense. And to me, it's just like, I'm just a firefighter. At the end of the day, it's humbling. It really is a humbling experience, but it's a lot of weight on my shoulders.
I can imagine.
It's a lot of weight on my shoulders. One thing is, as a firefighter, you're alert and awake 24 hours while you're on shift, but to have that sense of responsibility, I don't sleep in the firehouse, so I do go home every night. However, that sense of what if something's happening at the fire station? What if something happens to, either one of my firefighters or a resident, or, that is where that heavy load is. In that sense, the constant heightened awareness of making sure that you're giving the best possible training to the firefighters. You're getting the best equipment that's out there. With its criticism, it's hard to navigate the politics of. At the end of the day, you're still from within the fire department, and at the end of the day, you grew up in the fire department, and all you want to do is do the best and what's right for the firefighters, the men and women that work for our department. And not only that, I also have ocean rescue that's under my division as well. I also have, the unsung heroes behind the 911 call when you call them, which are the dispatchers, as well as fire prevention, which does the life and safety measurements going to the buildings to make sure that the occupants or the residents are inside those buildings are able to, come out safely. So under my purview, I have over 400 employees, but I oversee, firefighters. It's 240 firefighters. So it's public safety, and its small little city of 8 miles. We have a lot of responsibilities to ensure our residents, our tourists are safe at its best.
Absolutely. Firefighting has traditionally been a male-dominated field. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a woman in this profession, and how did you push through?
There's been challenges, of course. It is a male, traditionally career. I want to say, again, proving myself at such a young age was instrumental in getting the buy-in from my counterparts. There were moments I could have doubted myself, like, man, this guy's like 6'8", and I'm pretty tall. I'm 5'9". I would bench press and do squats, and I was very athletic. And it's like, listen, at the end of the day, even if there was a male in my position, this guy's an anomaly. He's 6'8". There's no way that anyone, unless you're 6'8" and you're a football player, you would be pulling him out. So those are the moments that, you would doubt yourself in a sense. But with anything else, there's no I here. We are working as a team, and you giving your effort, you showing no different than they are. I think that it's always been very welcoming, at least for me and my experience in Miami Beach. I don't know anything else other than that. Mm-hmm. I've never experienced, some of the adversities that I've read, some adversities that, my friends have gone through. But, working twice as hard it is the truth, because you have that stigma as a woman. Like I said, at an earlier event, it's women naturally, you are critical and more hypervigilant on yourself. So naturally, I put that pressure on myself. Naturally, I wanted to go and continuously prove myself that it didn't matter, what gender I was, mm-hmm. but that they felt safe going in a fire with me, that they felt safe me leading them in a fire. And now that they know that I will put them first as a priority leading this organization.
Well said. Were there any women in leadership, either in firefighting or other fields, who inspired you along the way?
I honestly, it all starts at home, mm-hmm. in your ground roots. And, I saw my mom, she was fierce. She worked hard. She was at the same place for 30, 45 years. I think it was like 35 years. My whole childhood, I remember her taking me to work at 5 o'clock in the morning when she didn't have a babysitter. Oh, wow. And I would sit underneath the desk while she was in the cooking line at the hospital. The women I was raised with, my sisters, I got 3 elder sisters. My oldest sister, she's, if it wasn't for her driving my mom to the hospital, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because she was 19 years old and she's driving my mom because my father wasn't in town. So I've had amazing women in the family. And I've also, witnessed vicariously, other women reading books, mm-hmm. That whether I wanted to be fierce like them, like, wow, if she can do it, so can I. But I can't say that there was one particular person, because, you grow and you take things from everyone independently, differently. And it's multiple women, everyone. Other women that were in my fire department, as when I came in, there was a lieutenant that was my officer, and it was kind of like, all right, well, if she can, so can I. So it's never... I can't narrow it down to one, Kat. It's all women, I think, are fierce in themselves, and they just hold something differently than what a father figure. For me, my father was my role model. I wanted to build construction like him, and be strong like him. My mom cut the grass with her, so it was everyone has its part in life as you grow older.
Totally. What does representation mean to you, and how important is it to have women in leadership roles within public service?
I think it's extremely important because of the demands of the job. Our previous city manager, Alina Hudak, I remember having conversation with her daughters, because both her husband and herself are public servants. And I believe my son was maybe 4 years old. He was very little. And I remember talking to her daughters and be like, did it bother you? Because when she worked for Miami-Dade County, she was always in the EOC, which is when a hurricane comes that we would have to be there. And you're not allowed to be with, basically you can't be with your family. And her father is the chief of Coral Gables. Mm-hmm. So she had both her parents away during those times. And I'm like, has that impacted you? Has that affected you? So seeing women in leadership positions, talking to their kings and seeing how they navigated that, I think is extremely important for anyone that is, moving up those roles in their organization, so they can, bounce ideas and bounce that mentorship off of them, so they feel, okay, fine, I understand. It's like that, all right, I'm not doing nothing wrong. Eventually we're going to get through this one too.
Okay. What strategies have you used to build trust and respect among your staff and firefighters, especially as the first woman in your position?
It comes with your ethics. I follow very strict principles when it comes to, my morals, and my morals are always gonna face north.
Mm-hmm.
There's, ethics that can be blended, and individuals, they don't know, they almost like commingle both. And when I think of ethics, my mindset is moral humility. If I'm going to make a decision, I'm very open. I'm very candid about any decision that I make, being being soft-spoken. I've always been in that sense where you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and always know that there's going to be unethical people in this world.
Right.
And I can't have my standards that I have on myself and impose that on other people. I work and I'm grinding till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I can't get mad at someone if their work ethics are not like that. But I do have standards. And the standard is to achieve success, to be respectful, to know that you need to have a test. And when you have that moral, questionable behavior brought to you, whether it's a discipline issue or anything, would you be comfortable having that choice or that discipline that you're instilling on that individual, that firefighter, be aired out in public, into the newspaper? Would you be comfortable with that decision if it was done to you? And would you like the person in the mirror once you made that decision? And that's a reflection of what my leadership style is. If I answer no to any of those questions, then obviously my decision or anything that I'm going to impose or bring out or direct anyone to do is not going to be the right choice. Not make decisions when you're angry, not make decisions based on rumors, and just hold yourself to the same standard that you want to be held to. Give the same respect that you expect in return. And that's always been my outlook on everything in itself. I have zero tolerance for liars. I don't like liars. I don't think that there's a need or a place for that. And I believe that, I'm very blunt. I will call someone out if I know for a fact that they're lying to me. Listen, I know you're lying to me, and this is blah, 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 blah. And come on, cut it out. We don't need to go down this path of just own it. Own it. You messed up, you own it, and it just builds character and resiliency and all together.
Oh, wow. What advice do you have for women who aspire to leadership roles in a male-dominated industry?
I would tell them that you are your own worst critic. Mm-hmm. We have to not show that we're bigger and we're the boss and talk candid, but you have to talk with confidence. You have to, you also have to not be so soft-spoken when you're saying, no, you talk with confidence, but understand at the end of the day, they don't need a mother, but they also don't need a tyrant. and you don't have to flex either. When you're in that leadership role, be yourself. Be yourself. Be true to who you are and what you want to admit and what you want to emulate. For other people, I would say that you are your worst critic, and you may think that you're, behind the ball 80% of the time, and the reality is no one is even realizing that. No one is talking about that. People just want to be respected. People want to know that you have their back when the time comes to needing your support. People want to know that you're understanding, that you're treating them as humans. And I think that in this field, regardless of what it is, it's, all about mutual respect and having that respect and knowing, that line of represent yourself as being fit for the job, knowing that you can do a great job, knowing that you earned it, knowing that you bring, different values, a different perspective to the table, but be true to yourself, be true to who you are, and lead with your moral integrity. There's nothing anyone can take away from you as long as you're leading with your moral integrity and leading with that conviction of the truth, and you're going to do what's right for the betterment of everyone. Because if you don't have the support of those individuals that are working for you, that in that male-dominant field, then what good are you at that point? If you don't get the buy-in, you're nothing. You can do whatever you want. You can flex. You can discipline. You're absolutely achieving nothing by not getting the buy-in of everyone. And you have to understand who you're talking to. You have to read the audience. You have to read the room, not interrupt individuals when they're talking. Because at the end of the day, we're all in our own way, almost like selfish, and we just want to be heard. And you just got to let the person talk, let them vent, and then you can give your response. And I think as women, we have a natural way of speaking. For myself, in my Cuban house, you think that we're all yelling at each other. And it's just the way that we talk, and you speak loud and animated. And I think that sometimes gets misconstrued, and you can't listen to the noise. Don't listen to the noise. You have to just do you, do right, look in the mirror and reflect and learn from mistakes. Lean on your mentors, lean on friends that are going to be authentic and tell you the truth. Like, yeah, you know what? That was a pretty harsh how you said that. And we will all succeed. At the end of the day, who's measuring you? Only you.
Right.
That's who's measuring you. You are measuring yourself. You can't measure yourself on a popularity contest or, how many rumors you hear. It's noise, and you have to be just true to yourself.
Good word. How important is mentorship in this field? Do you actively mentor young women interested in firefighting?
I'm not sure if mentorship is the way that you would call it. It's I think starting at a young age with Career Day, it's having that exposure. I think the schools are doing an excellent job of using, the fire departments, cadet programs, volunteers. I've seen it more in our counterparts with the police department. Mm-hmm. I think it's reaching out, and sometimes you have to do the reaching out versus someone reaching to you. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very important to have that mentorship so they know that, hey, you can do it. And we're getting there. It's always been that. Why? Because it's hard. It's very hard being a mom. It's extremely hard. And if you don't have that family support system, I'm very grateful that I have that support system at home. But it's hard. It's extremely hard leaving my son when he was little. He was like 3-4 months old. And you're gone for 24 hours. And it's a very it's a hard process because naturally as women, you have that bond with your children and you want to be there. And those are, whether you're, my dispatchers, some of them have 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. schedule because they feel, hey, the children are sleeping. Let me go to work while they're sleeping. You have someone that just got into the field early on, and maybe they have that afternoon schedule, which is prime, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you can't pick up your kid from school. You can't do homework. You can't bathe. And then you have the other schedule, which is 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So those two schedules, something's going to give. And having someone that has that experience, that's gone through it, I think helps validate your, what you're guided to. Like, yeah, I'm gonna push forward for this.
If you could go back and give yourself or give advice to your younger self at the start of your career, what would it have been, or what would it be?
Well, I probably would have said have a kid earlier. I'm not sure if that's appropriate or not, but I think now in the peak of my career, in that sense, I was so worried about what it would look like. Oh, wow, I'm 24 years old. I just came on the fire department, and now I'm going to, go have a kid. The pressure, even though no one put that pressure on me, that was the pressure I put on myself. Oh, this is not the right time. And then I was a training chief, and I was like, oh, no. And I'm 6 months pregnant. I just got promoted to be the first training chief in the fire department. I go, great. That's not going to. And I remember I was being upside down, inverted on a rope system, like 6 months pregnant, all because of what perception was going to look like being pregnant as a chief, as a woman. So I would tell my younger self, don't listen to the noise. The noise is in your head, and you're creating this false perception of caring what other people may think. Meanwhile, everything is passing you by. This too shall pass, and just, live life. Don't be in such a hurry to wanna, succeed for moving in promotions and, trying to take promotional tests and trying to change the ways or anything like that. Just enjoy it. And I think, the good and the bad of promoting as young as I did was, it got, in the peak of my career, it was getting really finally settled into the atmosphere of the firefighting world. I think approximately like 7-8 years on the job, you kind of feel comfortable. You'll never get past the jitters on, the alarms ringing and helping people. But I would have told my younger self, just, enjoy it. Enjoy being in the present moment. Don't look so far ahead for the next one. Enjoy the present moment in life in general.
Okay, and my last question, I only have 30 seconds left, Chief. What message would you like to leave women listening today, whether they're young girls dreaming big or women striving for leadership in their own careers?
Follow your intuition, your sixth sense, and don't be afraid to fail, because with adversities, we grow bigger and stronger than before.
Very good. I want to say thank you so much, Fire Chief Digna Abello, for being on the show. It means a lot that you took the time out of your busy schedule, because I did get to meet you earlier today, and you have a lot going on. Secondly,
I do. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And secondly, I want to wish you a huge, huge, huge happy birthday, because I know you're celebrating your birthday the very next day. Wishing you peace, love, prosperity for you as Miami-Dade's first fire chief, and also peace and blessings to your family as well.
Miami Beach's first fire chief in Miami-Dade County.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And hopefully this will open doors for so many more women to follow in your footsteps.
Thank you, Kat. I greatly appreciate it, and your audience and your followers and everyone. And God bless you too.
God bless you. Thank you so much. I want to thank each and every one of our guests that appeared on the show for the Women's History series and those who made these guest appearances possible. I want to thank the listeners, you all, for tuning in each and every Tuesday since June of last year. We are looking forward to the following month, and we have a great dynamic show for you next month. So stay tuned and have a blessed week.